If you're a woman over 60, there's a private habit that may be quietly affecting your health, and it's something rarely discussed. That habit is masturbation. While this topic is often seen as natural and safe, and for the most part, it is, the truth is that as we age, our bodies respond differently. What once worked in your 30s or 40 seconds may now be putting unexpected strain on your pelvic health, dampening sensation, and slowly draining your energy without you even realizing it. I'm Dr. Rachel Bennett, a physician specializing in geriatric care. For over 3 decades, I've helped women protect their energy, overcome sexual challenges, and enjoy their lives fully and confidently into retirement and beyond. One of the most overlooked areas I've seen is how private habits, even those that feel good in the moment, can lead to slow, subtle changes in the body, changes that go unnoticed until they become harder to reverse. It's not that masturbation itself is harmful. It's how it's being done that can cause problems. Specific techniques, frequency, or even your mindset during self-pleasure can lead to long-term issues. Some symptoms won't show up for months or even years. In this article, I'll walk you through the 4 most common masturbation mistakes women over 60 often make and how to avoid them. And the last one? It's something most doctors never even bring up. Let's begin with one of the most common, yet invisible, issues: forcing arousal and rushing toward climax. I can't count the number of times I've heard a woman, let's call her Susan, sit across from me and say something like, "It used to be so easy. Now I feel like I have to try so hard just to feel anything." She doesn't know it yet, but she's describing the first silent way women unintentionally harm their sexual health. As we age, hormone levels decline, lubrication changes, and nerve sensitivity shifts. The body's sexual response becomes gentler and slower, but many women don't adjust their approach. They try to replicate the same intensity they used decades ago: fast movements, firm pressure, pushing for a release. And when the sensation doesn't come, they push even harder, emotionally and physically. This can lead to tiny tears in delicate vaginal or vulvar tissue, overstimulated nerve endings, and increased pressure on the pelvic floor muscles. Over time, these micro-injuries can add up. Many of my patients don't realize their chronic dryness, reduced sensitivity, or lingering pelvic tension could be traced back to their masturbation habits. The most dangerous part is how slowly the damage develops. There's no immediate pain, just a gradual loss of sensation, confidence, and satisfaction. So they push harder again, trying to fix the issue, only making it worse. Over time, this can contribute to painful intercourse, weakened pelvic muscles, and even bladder control problems. If any of this feels familiar, please hear this: it's not your fault. We were never taught that intimacy at 60 or beyond requires a different rhythm. You're not doing it wrong, you just need to do it differently. Learn to move slower. Be intentional. Use lubricants when needed. Focus on how it feels, not just on reaching climax. Your body is wiser now and asks for more respect, not more effort. And when you finally stop forcing and start listening, everything begins to shift. The next common mistake doesn't just impact your body, it rewires your brain in ways that can silently sabotage real pleasure and connection. I remember one woman, let's call her Margaret, telling me she didn't feel anything anymore unless she was watching something online. And even then, she said, "It's just not like it used to be." Her story isn't rare. Many women rely solely on pornography for stimulation without realizing the long-term effects it can have, especially later in life. As we age, our brains' ability to process and recover from high-intensity stimulation declines. Online content, which is designed to deliver fast, intense dopamine spikes, can overstimulate the brain's reward centers. Over time, this leads to desensitization. What used to excite you no longer does. You crave more intense material, longer sessions, or more frequent stimulation just to feel something. Meanwhile, your sensitivity to real-life intimacy starts to fade. This isn't a judgment about porn, it's a recognition of how our brains work. The overuse of high-stimulus material can dull your emotional and physical responsiveness. You may find it harder to enjoy touch, harder to feel connected, or even harder to experience desire with a partner. And because this change happens gradually, many women don't recognize the cause. Thankfully, it's possible to reverse this. The brain remains adaptable well into older age. With time and patience, you can reawaken your natural ability to Enjoy slower, more genuine experiences. Start by cutting back on screens. Use your imagination, memory, or even erotic literature to explore pleasure in gentler, more personal ways. You'll be amazed at how much sensation returns when you stop overstimulating your mind. Let's now look at another common habit: masturbating too frequently, especially when your energy is already low. A woman I worked with, let's call her Helen, once asked me, "Is it possible I'm doing it too often?" She was in her early 70s, generally healthy, but reported chronic fatigue, trouble sleeping, and a lack of motivation. After some discussion, we discovered she was masturbating almost every day, sometimes multiple times, believing it would help her relax. But the truth is, after 60, our bodies have a different relationship with energy. Hormones recover more slowly. The nervous system takes longer to reset, and the same habits that once felt invigorating can now become draining. Frequent orgasms, especially when you're already stressed, tired, or emotionally depleted, can leave your body more exhausted than energized. This isn't about limiting pleasure. It's about understanding what your body needs now. Where you once bounced back in hours, your system might now require days. Over time, too much stimulation can lead to lower libido, mood shifts, and even weakened pelvic function. You don't need to stop altogether. In fact, healthy, conscious sexual expression is important at any age. But your habits should align with your energy levels. For some women, reducing frequency to once or twice a week can make a noticeable difference. Others find joy in touch or exploration without climax. The goal is to find a rhythm that supports, not depletes, your overall well-being. And now we come to the last, often neglected issue: not taking care of your pelvic health and hygiene during self-pleasure. A woman I treated, let's call her Eleanor, had been struggling with subtle pelvic pressure and recurring urinary tract infections. There was no clear cause until we took a closer look at her habits. She hadn't changed how she approached intimacy in decades, and small oversights were adding up. After menopause, the tissues around the vagina and urethra become thinner and more delicate. Bacteria can more easily enter the urinary tract, especially if hands or toys aren't clean, or if you don't urinate after stimulation. Certain positions may also strain pelvic muscles, leading to discomfort or a feeling of heaviness that doesn't quite go away. The real danger here isn't one infection, it's the long-term wear. Ongoing strain and irritation can weaken bladder control, cause chronic pelvic discomfort, and even lead to more frequent nighttime bathroom trips. And because the connection isn't obvious, many women never trace the problem back to their habits. Small shifts can make a huge difference. Wash hands and toys before use. Empty your bladder after climax. Use positions that feel supportive and gentle on your lower body. And most importantly, stay aware of how your pelvic area feels after intimacy. If something doesn't feel right, don't ignore it, respond with care. Now that you understand how these 4 quiet habits can slowly chip away at your health, it's time to bring it all together. If you've read this far, let me say this from one woman to another: you're not broken. You're not doing anything wrong. What you're feeling, slower desire, less energy, subtle discomfort, is your body speaking to you. It's asking for a new kind of attention. For too long, women have been told to power through, to do things the way they always have. But at this stage of life, your strength lies not in pushing, but in listening. You now know the habits that may no longer serve you. This knowledge is your invitation to begin again with awareness, with gentleness, with care. You've spent a lifetime being strong for others. Now it's time to be wise for yourself. Change doesn't have to be dramatic. Start with one small step: more time, less pressure, a little more intention. Ask your body what it truly needs and let that guide your choices. This isn't just about sex. It's about the life you want to live: more connected, more alive, more deeply in tune with yourself. You have nothing to prove. You only have yourself to reclaim. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you know another woman who might benefit from hearing this, please share it. You never know who might be quietly waiting for this kind of permission to begin again. Ask Chat Tools.